probably had a heart attack when he saw Tommy roll out. But Tommy Clements, great play to his favorite receiver this evening, Keith Baker. And do you realize that's Baker's 10th catch already in this ball game, and we're just into the third quarter.
I've never seen a quarterback who can roll to the left, who is a right-handed quarterback, and throw better on the run than Tom Clements.
Tom Clements is a tremendous athlete, good baseball player, basketball player. We haven't got him playing hockey yet, though.
Flags come down. Clements puts it up looking for Stapler. He makes a circus attempt at the grab, but couldn't come down with it. Darrell Wilson was with him step for step. We mentioned there are flags down on the field.
Offside, Toronto 37.
John Pointer, the linebacker, was offside. It'll be 1st and 5, Hamilton.
You know, Pat, we've talked a lot about Tom Clements this evening, and a lot of people probably don't realize that in the offseason he attends law school. And how would you like to have your quarterback stand second in his class at law school?
Nobody has ever said that Tommy was anything but a very smart guy. Graduate of the University of Notre Dame, went to Ottawa, and he and Conrad Holloway combined to win a Grey Cup, but really Tommy was number one. And now with a 1st and 5, let's see what he does from the Toronto 18. Throws for DiPietro too far. Leo Gray was covering the tremendous inside receiver of the Ticats.
You know, even though Rocky DiPietro is leading the league in receptions with 31, I think one of the surprising statistics is that he hasn't had a touchdown as yet. And maybe that's one of the reasons why the Ticat offense has had trouble getting going this year. We see some of the youngsters certainly enjoying the ball game tonight.
2nd and 5, Hamilton. Clements puts it up for Baker. Touchdown, and a flag comes down. The touchdown will count. Interference, the call against Don Rose.
Came to Ivor Stadium to see tonight. They came to see Tom Clements hook up with wide receiver Keith Baker. And what an outstanding move he put on Don Rose into the end zone for the touchdown. Threw the football into the crowd, but he doesn't care. It only cost him $50. But the Ticats coming through here in the third quarter. An excellent touchdown reception by Keith Baker.
And the point after by Bernie Ruoff is good. And so with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left to play, we'll take one more look at that touchdown strike.
Well, Keith Baker ran a stop, pitch, and go pattern, and even though Don Rose gets called for interference, great concentration on the football, and he's got the touchdown.
Well, as Ivor Wynne Stadium explodes again, we'll tell you the score is Hamilton 27, Toronto 11. We'll be back in just a moment. Kickoff is grabbed by John Lowe at his own 13-yard line. And Lowe gets out close to the 30-yard line, and now a flag comes down. It was thrown by referee Lauren Woods, who detected a little bit of rough stuff going on. And while they sort this out, I'll tell you that Tommy Clements has been good on 20 of 28 passes tonight for 293 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Major foul. Toronto 76, unnecessary roughness.
Rick Moore, last week's outstanding lineman in the CFL, picks up the major foul, and it pushes the Argos back to their 15-yard line.
Well, that excellent TD reception by Keith Baker, we'll certainly have to look at that as well for our Panasonic play of the game. And we see Bob Ovilovich on the sidelines, and he certainly has to be concerned. He finds his club now trailing by 16 points, but there's still a lot of time left.
2:20 left in this third quarter. The Argos starting in a hole. Cedric Minter And Minner explodes out over the 20 to about the 21. He'll have a gain of 6. John Priestner, number 36, the linebacker, made the stop. Well, the Argos obviously need a touchdown to get back into this ball game, and they're going to have to do it quickly because they're going against the outstanding defensive unit in the Eastern Conference in the Hamilton Ticats. Holloway throws underneath to Pearson, but he couldn't hang on. Scott McGee, who is replacing Martin Cox as one of the wide receivers in that Toronto alignment, has not been a factor tonight. Through no fault of his own, they've only thrown the ball at him once.
I was just going to mention that as we see Paul Pearson leaving the field, but really a good defensive series for the Ticats, and they should get the ball back in excellent field position. You know, Bud Riley told me earlier today that he realizes playing the amount of man-to-man coverage that they do, they won't get the big totals and interceptions, but what he hopes for from that type of defense is to create good field position, and we see an example of that right now.
Good point. Andrew Session punting on 3rd and 5. Fields moves up to his, or David Shaw moves up to his own 54. And just gets to the 54 and no further because down very quickly was number 30, Jeff Townsend. Had he been able to get by Townsend, there was an open sideline for him.
Certainly was a lot of room. Really a good saving tackle by young Jeff Townsend.
The wind has picked up slightly in intensity. That punt by Andrew Sisson into the wind was good for just 35 yards, but there was no return. And the minute flag is now up with 55 seconds left to play in this third quarter. The draw to Mark Bragignola, and Bragignola gets to midfield. No further. It'll be a pickup of 2. Earl Wilson, number 58, a newcomer from the University of Kentucky, playing at that defensive tackle spot, made the stop.
Well, the Ticats really haven't had much of a running game tonight. I'd be interested to find out from statistician Bob Layden how many yards they do have. But certainly Tom Clements has strictly relied on the pass.
28 yards rushing is all the Ticats have been able to pick up, but they've done it through the air. The screen to Johnson. And Johnson is going to go the distance. Touchdown, Hamilton.
Ticat fans more excited than this is Ron Johnson on the quick screen. A great block from number 59, Ed Fulton, and it's simply a foot race between Johnson and Zach Henderson. Johnson wins the battle, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. But this Hamilton Ticat crowd, I haven't heard them this vocal in years.
The 5th touchdown of the year for Ron Johnson. And the Ticats have now blown this one wide open.
Well, you know, Pat, it doesn't surprise me at all because it's just been a matter of time with the offensive statistics that the Ticat offense has had already in 5 games this year. It was only a matter of time before they exploded for some points. Again, another look at Ron Johnson down the sidelines. Quite frankly, I didn't realize he had that type of speed. He just flies into the end zone. The Ticats are ahead 34-11.
Hamilton's total offense to this point, 376 yards. That touchdown pass traveled a total of 55 yards. As the Ticats have gone out in front, 34-11.
Kind of nice when you can pick up 55 yards in 2 plays and come out of it with a touchdown as well.
Dale Lindsey's fears were well-founded, though, when he was talking to us before the game. He said, you know, intensity is such an important thing. We were so high for that game against Edmonton, I just don't know what to expect here tonight. He knows now.
Well, it's common knowledge among the Argonaut players that this stadium is not called Ivor Wynn Stadium. They feel it's Never Win Stadium.
And it's been that way for most of the past decade. Ball bounces down to Terry Greer, who starts from his 10. Greer has a pretty good return out to about the 32 or 33 yard line as the third quarter comes to an end. The score, Hamilton 34, Toronto 11. We'll return with the fourth quarter in a moment. Statistical story of the first three quarters. The Argos need points in a hurry. The screen to Brunk. And the big fella does it again. He gets to the 53-yard line, a gain of 20 yards before Gerald Best, number 14, brings him down. Argos need points in a hurry, and this is a pretty good way to pick up big yardage.
Well, you can't get it all at once, and this is a good way to get the offense going. Again, they do a good job of setting up that screen. You see John Malinowski out in front, and I'll tell you, Bob Bronk's having a heck of a game. He's running really well with that football.
Holloway throws, Miller makes the catch, but he's nailed immediately at about the 53-yard line, which would be a gain of 4 or 5 yards. Bess and Shaw, 14 and 37 respectively, make the tackle.
Well, we see Bob Obilovich on the sidelines and talking to his assistant coaches up in the booth, trying to find that one play that'll get them back in this ball game.
You know, you talk about good athletes. Obi is in the Montana Hall of Fame. He was an All-American in football. He was an All-American in baseball, and he, of course, played basketball and coached it in the Ottawa area. Holloway throws. Oh, what a hit, but Greer hung on. A tremendous hit for the Ticats by number 24, Hazen Henderson.
Well, isolating on Terry Greer here. He circles back into the middle, sees Holloway in trouble, and I'll tell you, number 24, Hazen Henderson, puts a heck of a hit, but give Greer credit. He hung on to the football, keeping this Toronto Argonaut drive alive.
First down, Toronto at the Hamilton 31. Holloway throws into the middle. The catch is made to about the 15-yard line by Paul Pearson. Ben Zambiazzi made the tackle along with Howard Fields. And again, something you pointed out, Pearson coming back to the football, seeing his quarterback in trouble.
Well, he certainly did. This is your impromptu offense right here, because the pattern was shut down. Pearson just turned around and started going the other way. Not a great pass, but the results were good.
Ball inside the Hamilton 15. Argos trail 34-11. They need the touchdown desperately. Greer off his fingertips. He had cleanly beaten Leroy Paul.
Well, Holloway's upset with himself. He knew he had Greer open there. I'll tell you, Leroy Paul's very fortunate because he gambles here, coming underneath Terry Greer, trying for the interception. And this forced Holloway to loft the ball just a little farther and just out of the fingertips of Terry Greer.
Conrad has been good on 15 of 24 tonight for 238 yards. But he needs a touchdown pass here desperately to get Toronto closer. The Ticats comfortably in front at this moment, 34-11. To Greer again. Touchdown! What a catch, Terry Greer. There is a flag down on the field, on the far side of the field.
Defensive forward pass interference. Hamilton number 14 declined.
Pass interference against Gerald Best declined by the Argos. What a catch by Terry Greer.
Well, I'll tell you, I really like the style of this man right here, Conrad Holloway. The play didn't work just before. He goes right back to the same thing. This time, different results as we see. Terry Greer, great concentration on the football. He had Joe Kuklo coming across in front of him, Leroy Paul on his back, but he's the big play man for the Toronto Argonauts. 2 touchdowns last week against the Edmonton Eskimos, and he gets the Argonauts back into this ball game with that TD reception.
5 out of 6 on that touchdown drive for quarterback Conrad Holloway. point after is good. And so the score now is Hamilton 34, Toronto 18. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, the score is Hamilton 34, Toronto 18, 11:36 left to play in the game. Lots of time. Starting from his own 2-yard line is Stapler, and he's contained inside the 20. Jeff Gabrielson was down to make the tackle, and this is what the Argos have done so well all season long. Their special teams have been outstanding. Let's watch at an outstanding catch.
Well, Toronto Argonauts with that never say die attitude and could possibly get them back into this game. Just an outstanding catch. I'm surprised Joe Kuklo didn't really make an attempt to rearrange Terry Greer a little bit there, but nevertheless, Greer hung on, and Toronto Argonauts are back in the ball game.
Hamilton starts from just inside their 19-yard line. First down. Give is to Obi Graves. Graves with good effort gets out over the 25 to about the 26. He'll have close to 7 yards.
You may have noticed in the last defensive series for the Hamilton Ticats, Howard Fields came off the field. He injured his right hand. For a while they thought it might have been broken. He's got a bad contusion on the back of it. They've wrapped it, and they think he'll be ready to go back in on the next defensive move for the Ticats. That's Howard Fields.
Thank you, Bill. Second down, a long 2 to go for the Ticats. The toss goes to Graves, and he'll be very close to the first down. Referee Lauren Woods calls for the yardsticks to come in as Bobo Bilovich explains matters to quarterback Conrad Holloway. And of course they were together in Ottawa when Obi was an assistant to head coach George Brancato, who must have gone through 3 pails of ice last night, knowing George with those 3 touchdowns called back. It is a first down for the Ticats. The ball is just outside their 29-yard line. 10:20 left to go in the game. Hamilton 34, Toronto 18. Johnson makes the catch and has another first down at the 42-yard line. He was hit immediately by JoJo Heath, but Ron Johnson, who scored a sensational touchdown earlier in this game, makes the grab.
Well, you know, Pat, it was interesting to note when you interviewed Tom Clements at the beginning of the show tonight that he said that the way they had to beat that pass rush of the Argonauts was to roll out, and his offensive line's given him plenty of time to throw the football tonight, and the results are obvious.
The give is to Mark Bragagnola. He's wrapped up early by Earl the Pearl Wilson, number 58. His gain will be a couple of yards at most. Wilson's a healthy boy, 6'4", 265 pounds. Came to the Argos from the University of Kentucky. Clock is running with 9.5 minutes left to play in the game. Wide open, and Graves makes the catch inside the 40-yard line. Had Tommy spotted him a moment earlier and Obi hadn't stumbled, he was into the end zone.
Well, you're absolutely right, Pat, but when things are going well, they really go well. Obi Graves sneaks down the sidelines, and really, as Pat mentioned, had he not stumbled and possibly got the ball sooner, he could have scored, but as I said, when things are going right, they really go right.
The gain was 28 yards. It is first down Ticats inside the Toronto 40-yard line. Catch is made by Johnson again. Will be short of the first down as JoJo Heath put the hit on him, but Johnson did a good job, hauled it in, and the Cats will have less than a yard to go for the first down.
They certainly must have seen something in the films about the 2 Toronto cornerbacks that they could be successful running the out pattern against them. because I would say between the two receivers, Johnson and Keith Baker, they've at least caught 12 outs against the Toronto corners this evening.
That's the 5th pass reception for Ron Johnson. And Baker has a total of 11 by himself. 2nd and less than a yard to go. The ball was fumbled but recovered by the Ticats.
Well, you know, Pat, just by watching that offensive surge by the Ticat offensive line, it's no wonder why maybe in the 3rd quarter Tom Clements on 3rd and inches threw the ball.
There's another injury, gentlemen, for the Toronto Argonauts. Tony Atunovic, who is sitting on the bench, number 54. The left knee was racked up earlier in this game, as I told you. Well, now I just talked to Dr. Jackson again. He says it's definitely torn cartilage. They will operate on him tomorrow. As you know, that means 6 weeks or so anyway.
Tony from Simon Fraser University, one of the many, many products from that outstanding school. As Bernie Ruoff will try a 40-yard field goal. If he's good, it'll be his 5th of the night. And it is good. 5 out of 6 field goals for Bernie Ruoff. And now the Ticat lead is 37-11 over Toronto, and we'll be back in just a moment. Right now, let's not cheat them out of a touchdown. The score is Hamilton 37, Toronto 18, as the Argos scrimmage now from their 35-yard line. Cedric Minter makes the catch in the middle, fumbles the ball. It is still loose, and the Ticats have recovered. Well, Minter made the reception, took a big hit, coughed up the ball, and the Ticats have it.
Well, the Hamilton Ticats are certainly putting it all together tonight, and unfortunately the Toronto Argonauts are their victims. A good offensive play. Minter makes a good catch, but watch the hit by number 24, Hazen Henderson, as he comes in and just rocks Cedric Minter, forcing him to fumble a football, and the Ticats will recover. But credit that fumble to number 24, Hazen Henderson, who comes in on obvious passing situations. The Argonauts so far behind at this point. Bud Riley anticipating the pass and inserting that extra defensive back.
That's the 2nd big hit by Hazen Henderson. He does not come from Maryland or Kentucky or Mississippi or any place like that. He comes from Simon Fraser University. Boy, he's a keeper, isn't he?
Well, he certainly is, and I had a chance to watch him when he got some more playing time in the exhibition season, and he's going to be a good one.
First down, Hamilton at midfield. Keith Baker makes the catch and crosses into the Toronto 49-yard line before Don Rose makes the tackle. Well, they say out of adversity, good things can happen. The Argos have been kind of pumped up, and they really did like themselves, particularly that defensive secondary. They're young, they're very aggressive, and they've had good success. But tonight they've been rocked by a very experienced quarterback, Tom Clements. The gain was 7 yards. It is 2nd and 3. Well, there was good penetration there by Rick Moore. But there is a flag down on the field.
Now it appears as though number 79, Rusty Olson, the right defensive end for the Argonauts, jumped offside. We'll have to wait for the official call. The way Tom Clements is arguing it, they could be calling Keith Baker for drawing them offside.
Procedure. Hamilton, number 3, declined. 3rd down.
Well, they called Stapler for a procedure call. It looked like he was trying to draw Olson offside. He succeeded in doing so, but they called it as a legal procedure.
Well, I knew it was one of those guys. But you know, Pat, we have to talk a little bit about the Toronto Argonauts. You know, they've come off a big win with the Edmonton Eskimos. Nobody in their wildest dreams expected them to defeat the defending Grey Cup champions. And also the week before, they were underdogs out in Saskatchewan. So really, if there's some letdown tonight, it really can be understood.
And let's face it, it's good for the Eastern Conference to have Hamilton and Toronto both battling for first place. Jan Karinci from his 13. And Karinci gets out over the 25 to the 26. He took a gamble, hoping to jump through the tacklers, but he got hung up in midair. So it's Hamilton 37, Toronto 18. We'll be back in just a moment.
What's more natural than natural light?
When the feast runs deep, fresh and flavorful, what's more natural than Natural Light beer? Ah, Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch, the beer with a taste for food. Just naturally right with all those good things from the sea you love to eat. So when you've really put something into a meal,
What's more natural than natural light?